All right, everybody. I told you I'd come on again tonight. Here I am. I'm trying to stay with my commitment here. I made a commitment to come on Monday through Friday this week. So thank you guys for coming out. Rob, Bob, good to see you guys. Thank you very much. And I wanted to share something with you tonight. You can see I was able to get this image and icon on the screen. And, for those of you that know me, I do a lot of coaching. I work with athletes, I work with teams, I work with companies, I work with executives. And I'm often asked, how do you do it? How do you work with these people? Mark Hendrickson, good to see you. Jeff, good to see you guys. And really, I work off of this model here, right? This model here is really what I call the champion's way. And, for me, I wrote this book last year called Habits of a Champion. And I created a model that went with it. And I said, where do people want to be champions? Where in their lives do they need to be champions? Jeff, go after that round three. We got Jeff going after a big workout right now. So he's working on his physicality and his mentality, right? So I believe that the four quadrants that you see here, right? Physicality, mentality, career, and leadership. When we're able to get these four things working together, that right there is how we become our best version of ourselves, as some people like to say, or as I like to say, that's where you become a champion. So every day, what are you doing to challenge your physicality? What are you doing to challenge your mentality? What are you doing for your career? And what are you doing to work on your overall leadership skills? And in order to focus on those four things in the quadrant, you're going to be challenged. You're definitely going to be challenged. You have to be committed. You have to have discipline to your day-to-day practice. You have to have faith in your practice. And when you get this all right, over time, you start to build a legacy. You start to live with passion. You have unbelievable drive, and you start to form some really amazing relationships as a result. And at the same time, your overall performance advances, and therefore you get to live what I like to say, you get to live the life of a champion. But you can't just focus on one quadrant and not focus on the other, right? So if you're just focused on your career and you let your physicality and mentality go, well, you're oftentimes going to be a pretty bad leader because you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be coming up short with people. So we got to work on all four of these together, right? We got to work on our relationships. We got to work on our commitment to things. We got to work on our discipline, performance, faith, legacy, all those, this whole wheel, it works together. But I found if you focus on the big four in the middle, the others can oftentimes start to work themselves through, or you'll be in a good, stable position and well balanced to start addressing the periphery, right? No matter what we do, relationships are essential. But if, again, I work with a lot of high performers, if their career isn't right, every relationship in their life is going to suffer. So I want to get that career right. I want to get the physicality right, mentality right, leadership skills right. And I call that the champion's way. And when you get that working together, that's when you get to unleash your inner champion. So I want to sort of introduce this seal or, wheel to you so you can start to see how I work and what it is that I do when I work with people. But also, each night I like to either read something or come at you guys with a good solid quote that you can take and that we can break down and talk about. But one of my favorite basketball coaches, I got two basketball coaches that I really like. One is Coach K from Duke, and the other is Coach John Calipari from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, University of Kentucky. And, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Coach Cal. And practice is where we work on players' weaknesses. Games are where we show their strengths, right? So right now, again, I'm talking a lot about the phase of life that we're in right now. We're sort of sitting on the sidelines. We're home. We have a chance to work on our weaknesses, And a lot of people don't talk about weaknesses. What are your weaknesses? When you look at yourself and you do a self-analysis, or someone were to coach you or was to be your coach and say, hey, what are the weaknesses of that player? And you're the player in this instance. What would they say about you? What would some of those weaknesses be? Typically short with people, not great with relationships, lacks discipline as it relates to health and fitness, selfish. What are your weaknesses? And for me, I think it's super important that you identify what those are. And it takes a little bit of time. This is why, if you spend too much time on your phone, if you spend too much time sort of meandering or looking at stuff or looking stuff up, you're not able to sit with yourself long enough to identify what those weaknesses are. And if you can't identify your weaknesses, there's no way to take weakness and turn it into strength, which some people say you can't do. I fully believe you can because I've seen it done. And at the very least, you can take a weakness and make it much, much stronger. Okay, so if you do that, it's no longer going to be as weak as it once was. All right, so I wanted to put that out there to you guys to think about. Take some time and think about what your weaknesses are. And then, again, like Coach Cal said, practice is where we work on a player's weakness. Games are where we show their strengths. So by working on your weaknesses, eventually you're going to be able to show your strengths, which is when we get to go back to work, when we get to compete in the workplace again, when we get to compete on the fields again. All of what we do now will show up then. So use this time to sort of rework yourself and get yourself going in a very different way, where when you come back, you could come back to your work with a very different mindset and a very different way and swagger about you, which is really great. So I want that for you guys, but you have to take the time to identify what your weaknesses are. See, some people say, I just focus on my strengths and that's it. But here's the thing. If you're put in a situation that will call upon your weaknesses and they're still weak, you have a really good chance of contracting, imploding, and melting down. So it's amazing how under pressure, that's when our weaknesses tend to show, right? It's like I do a lot of corporate speaking, a lot of public speaking. I speak to teams. If I don't do the preparation, which is really what this is, every night I come on with you, I'm training myself. I'm preparing myself for when I get back out on the field, when I get back out on the stage. If I don't have this preparation or I'm not working on things, that becomes a weakness. And the pressure of just either being on stage or speaking to a professional sports team, there's pressure there. That can force that meltdown moment. And I can't have that and I won't have that. So we continue to work on our weaknesses. So I encourage you to identify what are your weaknesses. It could be how you communicate. It could be how you speak. It could be how you show up in a room. It could be anything. But it's up to you to identify. And if you have a hard time identifying, ask people around you. I'm sure many of them can very quickly let you know what some of your weaknesses are. You see, in sports, it's easy. Because in basketball, if a guy misses foul shots over and over and over again, he has an issue with his foul shots. That's his weakness. In baseball, if a player has a tough time going glove side, you're going to see more errors or you're going to see more missed balls to glove side. It's easy. You keep working on that. But how about in business? All right, Mark, I'll see you later. But how about in business? How about that? Where can you identify what your blind spots are? What I see for most people, they don't own their schedule. And that's where it all begins. They don't own their schedule, and therefore they have a hard time getting the results that they want. And then they get frustrated. Don't own their schedule, don't get the results they want, then get frustrated, and they live in that loop, right? They just live in that loop, and they get frustrated, and they don't achieve, and they get frustrated, and they don't achieve. And before they know it, their mentality is very poor, and they start to feel pretty bad about themselves. So you take yourself out of that champion's mindset, out of that winning mindset. And again, we can't have that. If we're going to be successful here, Danny, good to see you. We're gonna run into some trouble. So we got to find our weaknesses. We got to double down on them. We got to work on them. And when we work on our weaknesses, the security that we get as a result of working on those weaknesses will actually make our strengths even stronger, right? And we'll be more of a complete person. And at the same time, we won't walk around with as much insecurity saying, hey, this is my blind spot. This is my weakness. I'm usually not good at that. I don't do well with that. We can't have you thinking that way, right? Because that's not the champion's way. That's not a champion's mindset. So we got to make sure that you're always seeing yourself as prepared and ready, playing offense and ready to engage. That's how champions go about their business in sport, and that's how champions go about their business in business. So that was based on the quote from John Calipari. Practice is where we work on players' weaknesses. Games are where we showcase and show their strengths. Great. Next, this is another quote from him, and I like to share quotes from coaches that coach at a very high level because they have quite a bit of experience, and I want to share this one. As I became more secure, I liked that I could make it more about everyone else but me, right? As I became more secure, I liked that I could make it about everybody else but me. So that's a good lesson, right? For all of us, for coaches, those of us that are in business, those of us that are managers, leaders, or aspiring to be any of those. As I became more secure, I liked that I could make it more about everybody else and less about me. So Coach John Calipari, one of the best. It's a great lesson because, again, how many of us are usually focusing the cameras this way, right? Everything's coming this way. But we got to learn to switch that tide out, because think about the people that you admire. Why do you admire those people? Most likely it's because they invested in you. They showed a care for you. They showed an interest in you. And now forever, you hold those people in very high esteem. So again, Coach Cal says, as I got older and I got more secure in myself, I was able to lead in a very different way. I was able to get my players to do things that in the past I wasn't able to get them to do because it wasn't about me anymore, right? It was about making them great. And it's a really hard mindset because when you look at, your own personal life and you say, hey, these people aren't going to pay my mortgage. These people, aren't going to pay for my meals out. These people aren't going to pay for my kids, school or whatnot, right? So that makes it really hard. So we typically become very focused on us and me and I and how we go about my business and less about everybody else. And that makes you oftentimes struggle in the category of leadership, which you can see on the screen. So again, great lesson, right? As I became more secure in myself, I liked that I could make it more about everybody else. And that's the sign of a mature leader. That's the sign of somebody that is actually going to start climbing and see great acceleration in their life. And I truly believe that for everyone watching tonight, you can do the same thing. So again, tonight's takeaways, or the two takeaways from today are, right? Practice is where we work on our weaknesses. Games are where we showcase and show our strengths. And again, Coach Calipari, as I became more secure in myself, I like that I can make it more about everybody else and less about me. Two really strong takeaways that we can use so we can become what I call champion leaders. And ultimately, it allows us to build great relationships, build our legacy, show people that we're committed to them. It shows discipline to who you are and how you go about your business. It shows that you're about legacy and you're about really improving the performance and the life of other people. And again, we're seeing it now in many ways with what we're dealing with this crisis. You're seeing people come together, people that are starting charitable campaigns and things like that. That's them sort of, what I say, unleashing that inner champion. That's what we want, right? So they're making it less about them, more about everybody else. And the great part about that is you get an incredible ROE, as I like to say, which is a return on your energy. You get a great return on your energy when you're thinking about people, looking at them and saying, how can I make this person great? You could do it as a manager. You could do it as a teacher. You could do it as a CEO. You could do it as a coach. You can do it as a parent. How can I make this person or player great? And the only thing you got to watch for is that you don't do it as a dictator, but you do it as somebody that's positive, motivating, inspiring, and encouraging, and working to move somebody through their process without pushing on them, without pushing your agenda onto people. You got to be really careful about that. Where I come from in New York, it's really common. Parents, that sort of overmanage their kids, and they push the kids so hard that it works the other way because they got that formula wrong that I told you about with Coach Calipari. Coach Calipari says, as I became more secure in myself, I like that I can make it about everybody else and less about me. That parent that I just talked about that pushes the kid and is pushing on the kid, they're oftentimes making it about them. And it's about their dream for their kid. Can't have that. Sometimes your dreams as a manager and as a leader may be bigger than the dreams of the people that you lead. That's okay. Find out what it is that motivates your people, what inspires them, what keeps them excited, and make sure that you're moving them through their journey and through their path. And it's your job to support them and help them get there. And if you can do that, you're going to be remembered as what I call a champion leader, which is somebody that's left a strong legacy, has made a huge impact, and has built really great relationships. And that's what I work on when I coach people, when I coach teams, when I coach companies. That's what we're all about. Champion leadership. And that starts by having a champion mindset and holding yourself to a high standard, but an achievable standard. All right, so that's my lesson for today. Thank you all for coming on. Simple lesson for a Thursday night, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, tell your friends, share it. We're trying to create this champions movement, and I hope you guys enjoy that. And if you ever need any coaching, reach out, check out our podcast, check out my blog, danacavalea.com. It comes out every morning, and love to kind of get you guys to experience all of this each and every day, because that's what it takes. That's what coaching is. It's every day coming at you, putting good things up here so you can go make good things happen out there. All right? Coach Dana Cavalea. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night and enjoy.